So now that you've got a good understanding of the production options that you have and you are ready to get started with actually designing your collection, one of the things I actually recommend you doing is start mood boarding. And what mood boarding is the process of kind of fleshing out your ideas for your design, your collection, and then even individual pieces. This is something that I really recommend every single one of my clients to do. So in this video, I'm going to show you the best practices on how to mood board in order to get clarity and direction for your collection. Hi, I'm Annie. I'm a fashion expert with 18 years of experience in design, sourcing, and production, and I'm here to help you create your fashion brand. So when you're starting to design your collection, I really recommend you do some mood boarding. And not only because this is actually a really fun, creative process, and this is something that can be really collaborative when you decide to hire a designer, because then you can invite them into your mood board. It's a great way to funnel in as many ideas as you can, because I really believe that even if you're blindly just liking on Pinterest, eventually when you have enough pieces and you have enough imagery, a design focus will come to light to a certain aesthetic, which will become your brand. That's what I believe anyway. So when you start out, it's also very nice to have a mood board, because when I receive a mood board from a client, it really helps me to illustrate the overall vibe and aesthetic that the client wants. So how do you mood board? Well, when I was just starting out as a designer, my mood boards were actually physical mood boards. So I would actually get like a foam board and start pinning things, going shopping and pinning fabrics and cutting out magazines, taking pictures. Now you can kind of be much more digital about it. And one of the best and easiest options that I give my clients is Pinterest. Pinterest is a great way to have mood boards, and I actually recommend having multiple mood boards so you can separate categories in each collection if you're planning to have more than one category, meaning dresses, pants, tops, outerwear, whatever you want. You can have a mood board for every single one, but I also recommend having an overall mood board for the overall brand aesthetic, because you want something that's gonna kind of be the parent mood board for all your other styles. Keep everything cohesive, right? The process that I like to use for mood boarding is first just collect. You're going to collect as much as possible fabrics, your competitor samples. You can go to a trade show and find fabrics there. You can go to a fabric store if you like and find fabrics there. If you want to go to showrooms like downtown LA, there's tons of fabric stores down there. But the easiest way to start is if you go through Pinterest, just online. You can pin things into specific mood boards. One that's your overall mood board for your brand, and then also for each collection, you can do one for a certain collection. You can go as granular as all the dresses will have this mood board, all the pants will be in this mood board, and all the tops will be in this mood board. And it just gives you great options to be very focused in your design. And the more focused you are, if you're planning on hiring a designer, the less expensive your designer is going to be, because then they don't have to really worry about going to find inspiration on their own. They can really rely on the homework that you've done for them. So when it comes to collecting, I say collect anything that catches your eye. It could be full outfits, it could be individual pieces like a top, just a bottom. It could be art pieces, it could be color palettes, it could be fabric photos, whatever you want. Just put those all in your board. Once you feel like you've collected a lot of imagery and you really feel like there's nothing else you can put in there, there's always something more you can put in there, but if you feel like you have enough, then you can start going in and start curating. What I mean by curating means editing, right? So you can just go into your Pinterest boards and start looking at what you've accumulated and just start taking out things that are just the outliers that just don't make sense to the overall scope that you've already created. And you'll find that it pops up because you'll start to see a consistency, and even if you don't know what your aesthetic is, a design aesthetic will emerge. I promise you, it will emerge. So while you're curating, your goal is to start looking for common themes and patterns within your board. So like you're making a loungewear brand and it's for women, and finding that you're constantly pinning a lot of oversized, very masculine pieces that can be kind of unisex with what looks like very heavy weighted fabrics. And so things that don't follow the more focused theme, you can start to take those away and just unpin those. And then that way, when you send your mood board to your designer, one focused aesthetic is going to shine through. After you start curating, and the curating doesn't stop, right? And actually the collection of images and fabric swatches and things like that, they don't stop in the very beginning of your brand. You can continually add more to your mood board, because the more you add, the more you're going to just continue to hone in and focus in on what your theme and what your aesthetic for your brand's going to be. But you may also want to think about doing some trend research. And it's a little bit harder for a new brand to do this, because bigger brands do have access to trend research agencies like Fashion Snoops and WGSN, and there's a whole bunch of other ones which they get very pricey because of the sheer amount of research they put in for their trends. But you can go to things like checking out the fashion shows for the season that you're going to be designing for. Major brands like Acne and Versace and The Row, they all participate in Fashion Week shows, and every single piece will be published by companies like Vogue or WWD, which is Women's Wear Daily, The Business of Fashion, NowFashion.com, Fashion Week Online. There are also brands that also, not brands, websites that also live stream these fashion shows. That's a great way to see where the trends are going to be going into for the following season. So spring will have the fashion shows for fall, and fall will have the fashion shows for spring. And so you can take a look at those and see some trends, which a lot of times they will be sharing trends, because we do take trend reports from pretty much the same companies. And so you can see what trends are emerging from those fashion shows and start to see what you want to incorporate into your brand aesthetic. Because after you've done your mood boarding and what your actual brand aesthetic is, your natural brand aesthetic, you can then start to add like trend pieces and key items that you'll see on the runways, and also interpret those in your aesthetic because you've already fleshed that out. And in addition to the Fashion Week shows or any high-end designer shows, you can also look to influencers, because influencers do influence your audience. Just make sure it's one that really resonates with your potential target audience, and see what they're wearing and see what their comments are. That's a really good resource for you. And then also, like I've said before, you can go and see the styles and the trends coming out of major events like Coachella, South by Southwest, Stagecoach, and there's a whole bunch of other like major events, cultural events that people attend and are covered by my fashion influencers and fashion magazines. You can take a look at those. And then also, if you have the inclination to do it, you can also go to trade shows. Because a lot of times trade shows, they do invite the major fashion trend agencies like WGSN and Fashion Snoops, but they will have presentations at those events, which they will give typically like a 1-hour seminar of what the upcoming trends are going to be within the next season. So that's also a nice option for you if you want to do that. You can just take notes. They usually do have like some kind of takeaway for you to take home, and that's a way for you to get things like color palettes that may be coming in, and then also some very curated key pieces that they want to share with you. And then a lot of times that's to promote the booths that are there, because they'll also shop the booths that are at the trade show and be like, hey, we feel like these kind of leathers or these kind of is cozy knit is going to be a major trend next year. You can find it in booth 1059. So it's a marketing tool for them too, but it's also a way for them to disseminate, the trends, a small set of trends that they're seeing in the next coming season. And I know this seems all very overwhelming, but if you take more time to do your mood boards so you can have a very clear aesthetic for your collection, it's going to help you so much at the end. So one of the biggest things that I always recommend when you're starting to edit, just walk away from your mood boards. Because if you're constantly looking at them, you're not going to be able to see the nuances of the mood board. It's such a good idea for you to just take a break. Just don't look at them for like a week, right? Keep them out of your mind, and so that when you come back with a fresh look. And then you can really have a very clean eye when it comes to editing your mood board. So you start to remove the imagery that doesn't make sense. You start to clearly see the overall mood and aesthetic for the theme for the collection or the categories that you are designing for. And this is a great way for you to pull everything together and make everything very curated. And this is what you want to send to your designer, or if you're designing it yourself, this is what you want to use to start designing your collection. So I hope that helped you out just a little bit to be able to see how to put together a mood board. It can be really fun. You know, it may sound like it's kind of like a big project, but it can be really fun. Like, you can be in front of your TV and have your phone out and have your Pinterest in front of you and just start scrolling the internet and just start pinning things. Just go to like the fashion magazines to check out some of the runway shows. You don't have to watch a show like in video. A lot of times magazines like Vogue or WWD or Business Fashion, everything, and other fashion websites, they will have just a slideshow. And so you can just screenshot pictures of styles that you like that are on those runway shows. And it's really going to help to inform you about where the direction for your collection and also where your brand is going to go, because your first collection is going to set the tone, right? So it really does help. It helps your designer. You want to do as much as you can to reduce the amount of hours that they need to put in order to create the design and the collection that you want for your brand. So I hope this helped you out. I know it can be kind of daunting, all these steps, but I promise you, if you take the time to do it, it will help you out in the end. If you like this kind of content and you want to see some more, please like and subscribe. Please do not hesitate to comment below. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer them. It's either in a reply or even in another video. And if you want to see some more of my content, you can check out this video right over here, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.